Today, I'd like to talk about the Delilah Law that was passed yesterday, right? Now, I'd like to first start out by saying I'm in no way, by me doing this video, am I saying that I justify that accident? Am I saying that I'm okay with anything that happened regarding the Delilah case? And I'm not saying I don't feel bad for the situation. The purpose of me doing this video is because it's all one-sided. They're leaning to one side, and it's a lot of BS behind this. Now, let's get to the facts. The Delilah Law was passed yesterday, but don't get twisted. Don't get it mistaken. There's still a bunch of steps that have to go before it becomes a law. The Delilah Law was passed yesterday in the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Now, what's next? It has to go to the full House of Representatives, and then it moves on to the Senate, and then it gets signed by the President. Now, the vote was 35 in favor and 26 against. Now, some of you may ask, well, why would anybody vote? Why would anybody vote against this law? The reason for it is because there's so much behind it that people are not telling you. Now, yesterday there was a hearing. There was a hearing yesterday about this whole situation. Last night I actually went and I saw the whole thing. That was like over an hour and a half. It was like an hour and a half. And all I heard was a bunch of repetitive stuff. Repetitive. Now, don't worry, guys. You guys don't have to watch the whole thing. I did a little summary clip, a little highlight video. So check it out.
This law doesn't care why you're here, what your circumstances are. We have one standard. This law says just meet the standard.
Of course, the Biden administration's open border policies allowed millions of illegal immigrants to flood into our country without.
Illegal immigrants, many of whom were led into this country thanks to Joe Biden's open border policies.
For the life of me, I can't understand how these licenses have been issued to people who can't speak or read
He was in
English.
this country illegally and had been illegally,
Because he couldn't read the road signs.
so that we do not have illegal immigrants getting a CDL.
Individuals cannot read basic English road signs.
An illegal alien,
And make sure that people are proficient in English.
Illegal alien truck.
And English proficiency.
illegal alien.
These are able to read the road sign.
Most of these illegals cannot read English.
With English language proficiency.
Illegal immigrant truck drivers. This legislation closes dangerous loopholes. It ensures no state is able to issue a commercial driver's license to an illegal immigrant.
So you guys pretty much heard what I heard. They kept saying illegal immigrants, can't read English. You have to understand English. Which we answered that. Okay, so what is this really about? You know, this is about the English and enforce your current rules, which is ELP. Now people say, okay, well, Obama reduced the this and that, and then the ATA. You know, I've seen videos where ATU blames the ATA because they're doing that, but then you got ATA right here saying, oh yeah, we applaud. So it's not a finger pointing game. Now, like, they created the issue, now they're solving the issue, and now they're like, yeah, good, congratulations for fixing the issue that we caused. You know, at the end of the day, they're blaming us. Now, if the issue is the English, again, enforce your current rules. If the rules were changed for some reason, or whoever did it, go after that person, or reinforce it and make us retest. You know, what happened to innocent to proven guilty? Now, the whole illegal immigrant part, we're not here illegally. Now, if somebody is here illegally, yes, that person should not have a CDL. If the person is here illegally and cannot read English, should not hold the CDL. And that's what they're making it seem. They're doing this for the public, you know, for the public attention for them to agree. You got Sean Duffy post this right here, right? If you pay real attention to this post, it's ridiculous, because right there in the post, what did he says? The Delilah Law is simple. No English, no license. States must verify CDLs aren't issued to illegal immigrants, which we agree to that. But the way they're making it sound is like, yeah, that's all we're doing. And they're not mentioning the people like me, people like thousands of me that speak perfect English that are here legally, and they're still taking us out. That's why you got people like this making comments like this. If you speak English, you'll be fine. It's only for the people that can't speak English, because that's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling the general population, because that's what they want. I used to think politicians are dumb. I still think some do. But what I realize is they're very strategic. They're saying this stuff so that an everyday American sees this and they're like, yeah, of course I'll support this law. Why wouldn't they pass the Delilah Law? Of course we want to get these foreigners that can't speak English, or they're a danger to the road, and they're here illegally. It sounds good, but that's not the reality of what's happening. And that's why I do these videos, because it's a bunch of bullshit. Now, I do have to say this. The Democrats that were supposedly defending our situation, man, they're so weak. They're so weak, and some of them were not helping the situation. That guy Garcia, whoever that guy is, man, he's an idiot, dude. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, and the way his arguments just got me so mad. The only Democrat, there were two Democrats that I thought spoke good, right? But the one that really got my attention was this guy right here. This guy seems to know what he's talking about, and he's reasonable. This guy is reasonable. He's like, dude, we're not fighting the whole thing, but there has to be a middle ground. It's not black and white. There has to be a gray area.
If the goal here is to ensure that people who are obtaining CDLs, if that they can read and speak English, then we can do that. But we have text before us that's going to eliminate people who have a lawful status in the United States who can speak English, who can read English, who can write English. This bill will eliminate some of those people from being able to obtain a CDL as written. And that is something that I think we have an obligation to address.
Now that guy, dude, that guy gave me hope. That guy gave me hope that, all right, we could get somewhere, because at the end of the day, like I said, there's stuff that are in this bill that we agree to. But the way it's written right now, they're just wiping us all out, and they're not telling you guys. They're not telling the general population. They're making it seem like, yeah, we're only taking away these people that sound good on paper. And that's the reason for me doing these videos. That's the reason why I'm so repetitive. Now, if you ask yourself why they keep calling us illegals, why they keep saying we don't speak English, there must be a reason. I believe that there's somebody whispering behind their ear. They're whispering behind their ear, and I believe they're using this case of Delilah. Unfortunately, I'm not saying, nothing against the family. I'm not saying that they're being used. Let's call it what it is. And how do I know that? Check this out.
We're about to go in before the markup today for the Delilah's Law that they're passing, hopefully today. We just want to thank everybody that's been involved with us this far, helping us get where we're at. Without supporters like you guys, we wouldn't be here. Without supporters like ATU, helping us get across the finish line right now, we definitely wouldn't be here. People like Shannon ensuring us that we stay on track and that we're not getting taken advantage of, or verbiage isn't snuck into bills that we're not paying attention to. So I want to thank Shannon for that also.
Now, in case you don't know who that is, Shannon is that guy from American Truckers United that keeps calling us illegal aliens, that we can't speak English, and that's the guy that's pretty much behind this, and that's behind the ear, telling them all this stuff. Now, there was one situation when one Democrat actually, brought up the situation about DACA and many other stuff. They're like, yeah, these people are also being affected, and they speak English, and they're here legally, and they requested to amend it. And the Republicans said no. They pretty much said no because their response was that Biden let a bunch of people in that could not get vetted. So the question that I have is, this problem, this whole issue, is the real problem? Is the problem non-domiciles, or is the problem the last administration? Is your beef with us, or is your beef with the Biden administration? Because if that's the case, I mean, what's up? Like, what we gotta do? Let me retest. Let me submit my paperwork that I'm here legally. I mean, I don't see why is it so complicated. But with all that being said, guys, now we have to wait. I'm sure the Delilah will pass, but I'm hoping it doesn't pass as it stands. Now we're gonna wait for the next step, and I'm assuming it goes like that in every law. They get revised, they get adjusted. Now I'm just hoping for something that's more realistic and more in favor. There are stuff that are in this bill that we're not talking about in the hearing, like for example the stuff with the brokers and the dispatchers, all that other stuff. We understand. I completely agree with that. If you're not in the country here, doing like how can you dispatch a load and you're not here? You don't know what you're talking about. I get that part. We're not completely against the bill, but there's got to be a middle. There's got to be a gray area here, and that's what I'm working for. One last thing. The goalpost always gets moved. We started, if you can't speak English, you shouldn't be driving. I can speak English. If you can't, if you didn't take the proper vetting and you didn't take the proper, you're not qualified, shouldn't be driving. I took all my tests in English and I'm qualified. And now I'm pretty much sure people in this comments, people in all social media are going to say, plain and simple, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be driving. So you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not a U.S. citizen. It's only a matter of time. But the goalpost keeps getting moved. So at the end of the day, no matter what I say, people are always against my situation. And it is what it is. That's the world we live in. So